If the area of an equilateral triangle, so let me underline this because these are salient points that we would use in answering this problem. If the area of an equilateral triangle is x square meters, and the perimeter is x meters, so the perimeter of the triangle is x meters, then what is the length of one side of the triangle? So like I said, this is a geometry problem, so it's always good to give a diagrammatic representation of the problem. Anyway, before I begin to attempt this, since I'm sure you might have forgotten some of the formulas, let me just explain something quickly. So if you have a triangle, say you have a triangle, let's say this is a triangle, and probably the angle here is say A, this is B, and this is C. And let's say the length here, let me call this B, and then let me use a different color for this, so let me call this C. So A that corresponds to this, let me call the length from here to here. I'm going to call the length from here to here, I'll call this A. The length from here to here, I'll call this C. And then the length from A to C, I'm going to call this B. So I decided to use these colors that corresponds to each of the angle here. So this is angle B. So while this is angle C, because it corresponds to C here, and while the last one there is angle A, that's the angle here. So I decided to use different colors so that you'd see the way I'm going to write down the formula for the area of a triangle given this information here. Now as me, you're told to find the area of this triangle. Now the area of the triangle is given by, so the area of a triangle is given by, so you know normally the formula for the area of a triangle is half base times height. But then what if you're not given the height? You don't necessarily have to start dividing or doing anything. There are other shortcuts you can go about in finding the area of a triangle. Alright, so the area of this triangle is just half BC, so you can either choose this and this, so that will be half so this is half C times B, so that's half BC, then sine the odd angle there, so that is sine of A. Also the area of the triangle can also be half, so now I chose BC for the first one, then I used A. So for the other one again, you could choose AB, then you have to use sine C, so that'll be AB. So you have A and then B sine C, sine C. Also the last one is to find the area of a triangle. It is also the same thing as half. So now I've used BC, so I've used AB. So this time around you can use AC, but whenever you use AC, you have to use the triangle that is adjacent to, that the two of them are actually adjacent to. So I'm going to use AC now. So this is going to be half AC sine B. So now you can see the trend of how to form the area of a triangle given the angles and probably the sides. So if you're just given just this and this, and then you want to find the area of a triangle, all you need to know is just multiply this by this, and then the angle that is adjacent, that the two sides are adjacent to, you multiply them by this. So basically this is how to find the area of a triangle. Anyway, let's go back and go back to the question here. So we are told that if the area of an equilateral triangle is x square meters, so an equilateral triangle is a triangle that has all its sides and angles equal. So let's say this is a equilateral triangle. So since we know an equilateral triangle has all its sides equal, so that tells us that each side is going to be 60 degrees. And then since it has all its sides equal, so since we do not know the side, I'm going to call the side, I'm going to call it A. So this is my equilateral triangle. So I have a sketch of the problem. So it says if the area of the equilateral triangle is x square meters. So I want to interpret this before I go to the next one. Now I'm told that the area of this triangle here is x square meters. So we know the formula for the area is half. Then he said you can choose any of them here. So if I'm going to choose this, I want to choose this and this, then I have to use this angle here. So the area is just going to be half a times a, then sine 60. So this is my area here, the area of this triangle, based on the formulas we showed here. So and this is just going to give us, we're told that the area is x square meters. So the area is x. So the area is x. So I'm going to call this equation 1. And then the next thing we are told is the perimeter of the triangle is x meters. So the perimeter, that is when you sum all the sides of the triangle, that's going to give you 3a. So we are told it is also x. So that is also x. So what we want to do now is we want to solve this. So you observe this is a simultaneous equation. So we can solve this anyway. Alright, let me start with equation 1. From equation 1 we have half. Now a times a, that is a squared. Then the sine of 60 is the root of 3 all over 2 equals x. So if you do not know how I obtained sine of 60 to be root 3 all over 2, I've done a video on this, so you can always check that out. So now from here I can find my a. So my a squared, this is going to be a squared root 3 all over 4 equals x. So I can just cross multiply. So you have a squared. So you have a squared equals, so you have 4 times x divided by root 3. So this is my a squared anyway. So let me now go to part 2. So I want to go to 2. So I'm going to call this 2. Now for 2 we have that 3a equals x. So if 3a equals x, then I can find a. So my a is just going to be, you divide both sides by 3, and then you have your a to be equal to x all over 3. So from here I obtain a to be x all over 3, and then from here my a squared equals 4x all over 3. So what I'm going to do here is, so I'm going to substitute a equals x all over 3 into my final equation here. So a equals x all over 3, I'm going to make the substitution here. So on substituting, so when you substitute into this place here, you have x all over 3 all squared equals 4x divided by the root of 3. So this is what you would obtain. And then when you square this, you have x squared divided by 9 equals 4x divided by the root of 3. Yep. So I can just write that here. So you have x squared divided by 9. So you can bring this to this side. So you have negative 4x divided by root 3 equals 0. So this is what you obtain. And then from here and here, you'd observe that x is common. So since x is common, you have x all over 9. That is x in x squared is x all over 9. Negative x in 4x, that's going to be 4 divided by root 3 equals 0. So you have two things, they multiply themselves, and then you have an answer of 0. So this implies that either x equals 0 or x all over 9 negative 4 all over root 3 equals 0. So but then, you know, x, so that's what we obtained for the first one is when you have x equals 0. Then to solve this, you have x all over 9. So it's going to be x all over 9 minus, or you can bring this to this side. So this becomes plus 4 all over 3. So this becomes 4 all over, sorry, this 4 all over root 3. So that's 4 all over root 3. So that means x is just going to be, so you cross multiply. So x would be 4 times 9, that is 36 all over root 3. So this is what we obtained for x. We obtained two values for x equals 0 and x equals 36 all over root 3. Now because I have a root sign at the bottom, so I want to try and rationalize this fraction here such that I do not have any root sign at the denominator. So to do that, I'm going to multiply both the numerator and the denominator by what I have at the bottom. So by root 3, and then what you'd obtain is going to be 36 root 3 divided by root 3 times root 3, that's going to give you 3. And then 3 here is 1, 3 here is 12. So you have your x to be equal to 12 root 3. So now we have two answers for our x equals 0 and x equals 12 root 3. But what the question says is, it says, what is the length of one side of a triangle? So the length of a side of the triangle, since we're told that the length is a, the length of each side of the triangle is a. So, and then using this equation here, you have 3a equals x, and then from below we had either x equals 0 or x equals 12 root 3. That was what we obtained here. X equals 0 and then x equals 12 root 3. So then when you look at the two values you have, so for the first one is when x equals 0. Now if x equals 0, from here you have that a equals x divided by 3. Now when x equals 0, so that implies that a is going to be 0 all over 3, which is 0. And then this is impossible because you can't have the length of a side of a triangle to be 0 length. So that is, this is impossible. So the one that's going to be valid is 12 root 3. So all we need to do is, so I'm going to bring that here. So you have using x equals 12 root 3. Then since we know that a equals x all over 3, so when I use this here, so you're going to have your a to be equal to 12 root 3 divided by 3. So 3 here, 3 in 12 is 4, so you have a equals 4 root 3. So now I've gotten a value for one of the lengths of the sides of the triangle. So that is 4 root 3, and then that tells us that this is going to be the solution of the problem. So the whole thing looks a little messy, but I do hope you understand. But if you have any question, please do not forget to drop your question in the comment box below. Thanks for watching.